Love and Hip Hop Hollywood star Masika Kalisha has just announced her engagement after only dating her partner for 4 months. So the reality star also revealed that she has known her fiancé for 10 years and admitted that she has curved him for 97% of this time. Do you think you can truly fall in love with someone you've had in the friendship zone for so long, and how would it happen?
100%. My husband was in the friend zone.
Really? Do tell.
So we need a story.
Do tell.
He was in the friend zone. So
For how long? Sorry, go. I'm so excited.
So, when we first met each other, I could tell he was attracted to me. I thought, yeah, he's all right, he's cute. We went on a date and I was just kind of like, nah, I just feel, my exact words, I feel like God wants me to be with somebody else, so it's not gonna go anywhere.
Did you say that to him?
I said that on the day, and he has never forgotten it, and he brings it up every now and then, like, oh, God didn't want this, and here you are.
I can't do. I love Jonathan. He has the best responses.
So he was cleanly put into the friendship zone. I was just like, not gonna happen. This is a box called friend. In you go. And then we just started talking. He would come to my workplace because we worked under an umbrella organization. So every now and then he would have to come for meetings. And every time he came, he would just come to my office and just chat with me over the period of 2 years. And after about 2 years, I said to my friend, I think I made a mistake here. I think I made a mistake. And she was like, yeah, I think you did. And by this time, he already had another girlfriend. So
I love this story.
Confession time. So we were up late one night talking. We went away on a work trip. So there was a bunch of us on a work trip. We was all sitting down together in someone's room, chatting, blah, 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 blah. And then I was just like, I just need to tell this guy that I like him because I feel like he likes me. And I don't know what's going on, but I just feel like there's an attraction there. So I told him, and he told me, you missed your chance. No, I'm not interested, and I have a girlfriend, so this isn't going anywhere. And I was just left with egg on my face. But thankfully, he changed his mind and he saw the light and he realized that actually he was about to miss out on a very good thing. So now we're together. So men, women, you can definitely move from the friend zone into a love relationship. The thing that I don't like about it, to be honest, I think it's really sneaky because every man that I know who has been in the friend zone, my husband included, they know what they're doing. They're like, my personality is winning. Like, I'm gonna win her around. She just needs a bit of time. I don't like that there's this deceptive plan going on underneath the seams, but what can I say? We've been happily married for 2 years.
Sophie, that was the best story ever. I think you have no idea. I was gagging, like, for my life. Like, when you told me about the work trip, I was like, yeah, he goes down on the work trip. And he said you told him, but he had a girlfriend. I was thinking, no. And then oh my God, that was the best story ever.
I think you said something quite interesting though, Sophie, because I've got not a similar story because we didn't wind up married, just no spoilers here, sorry guys. But I had it was about over 10 years ago now. I had a long-term relationship with someone who was my friend for about 3 years beforehand. But I think I will say this, I think there's always one party, if it's going to go that way, and I fully believe in platonic male, female, whatever, whichever way your persuasion is, I believe in platonic friendships. But I think if it's going to transition from one to the other, quite often one of you is always harboring some degree of feeling, and you might be willing to let it go, or you might be willing to play the long game. You might be, in my case, it was more of a, I think he was just a bit shy. Like, I don't think, once you start to become friends and you're building it, but then it's quite clear in the friend zone, you don't know how to move it in that direction. And in my particular case, it was actually, I think timing is everything. So I was reading an article from, I think it's in the HuffPost, and or in the Independent, and she was basically saying that it's often when there's these big life events happening and these big changes happening that people then feel like compelled to suddenly spill their feelings to someone that they've been friends with. And in my case, I was about to go traveling for like 6 months. And I think just before that, I had just gone through a breakup, and a mutual friend of ours was like, I was telling him I'd gone through this breakup, and he was like, yeah, good. And I was like, oh, hang on a minute. Like, no, like people don't normally say that. And he's like, good. He's like, because I always thought you were going to get together with this other friend that we have. And I was like, really? And I think at that point, something gets put in your mind and you're just like, okay. And I was like, okay, I just hadn't really thought about, like, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that there were times where I thought, you know, you're definitely into me. Like, you kind of know a lot of the time. If you think someone's flirting with you, 9 times out of 10 they are. So I do remember thinking, oh, you know, okay, I could probably have guessed that, assumed that since no approaches had been made, it wasn't something that you were intent on taking up. But with that in my mind, mixed with, you know, the heartbreak of breakups, mixed with like, I'm about to just go off for like 6 months, I think that kind of put us both in a situation where we had this, what was called our day of fun. And it was meant to be just, I know it sounds, no, it's not how it sounds. That wasn't it.
Friends with benefits?
I understand.
Was it a nighttime party?
No.
How long did this go on?
No. It wasn't that. So I had no. Okay, let me just make this clear. It was not that at all. That came out the wrong way. We lived in different cities, and I had a leaving party before I was going off, so I could see everyone before I left for 6 months. And he came down for it, and then was obviously still in London over that weekend. So that next day, because I thought that's quite sweet, he came down to say goodbye to me. We're like, let's go and hang out, you know, and go and do a couple of things. And it was one of those days that began with like some lunch that turned into a coffee, that turned into a trip to the cinema, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And then you got to the end of I think in the cinema, I think we had a little kiss at the end of the film in the cinema. And then we went for a drink afterwards, and it was just like, what just happened here? And also, why did this take so long? And what was going on? But I honestly don't think it would have happened if I hadn't been about to leave, because I think people just gather up the courage and I can throw this out. And you know what? If I get egg on my face, I have to see this person for another 6 months. We'll have all blown over by then. And I think it also depend on how close you are as friends. So we were good friends. I don't think I had reservations like, if this doesn't work out, I'm losing like one of my best friends. So I was maybe a bit less risk averse in that sense. But it was completely PG-13. I just like to make that clear.
Marisha, we got you. It was PG-13. It was 12A even. You needed an adult to come along. It was fine.
I don't think it was. I think it was a clean 15.
You.
That's what I'm going to say. But well,
no.
I agree with both of you guys. I think it usually happens when people feel like it's kind of like that airport scene, like the person's about to leave, so you have to run and tell them how you feel kind of vibe. And I also agree with Sophie that I find it horrifically sneaky. Now, I'm not like a friendship zone person. I kind of feel like if I see you and I like you, then I want you. I don't want to do the friend thing. I don't want to do like anybody who is a man and is my friend. I'm not attracted to them physically or even personality wise. You just wouldn't be my friend even if I felt like that. And I have had, you know, I have a lot of male friends and I have lost a lot of male friends because at one time or another they've come and they've done this Usher Confessions, part 1, part 2, part 3, and I have not taken it well.
They wanted your sexy ass. That's what you're trying to say,
no,
isn't it?
Well, those were not my words, Sophie, no, but I
I feel like that's where you're trying to get to.
They wanted to
go
go 18 movie.
Exactly.
No. I do you know what? It was not that. It was more of a conversation. It was never like they tried to kiss me outright, but it was more of a conversation. Like, look, I have these feelings for you. I want us to do X, Y, Z, and I want us to be together, blah, blah, blah. And I've never taken it well. Because in my mind, I just feel like you've been in my life as like a double agent. I feel like you have an agenda and you're deceptive, and anybody who knows me knows that honesty is like my big thing, and I understand if you don't have the courage to do it, but for me it's just like I can't move past the deception. Like, I can forgive you, but we're never going further. And because I didn't want you in the beginning, I don't really want you now. And I know that sounds horrific, but I'm just one of those people. We don't grow. People don't grow on me. I either instantly like you or I don't. It just has been that way always. But I did once have a friend who told me, but because his friendship meant so much to me, I just said to him as soon as he said it, let's just never speak about this again. Please, let's not do this. Because I really needed his friendship in my life. Like, I really loved it. I said, let's never speak about this ever again. And we never did. Obviously, years later, we didn't actually drift apart. But he will always be very important to me. But for me, if you're in the friend zone, you're just meant to be my friend. Like, that's just how I see it. So, yeah.
Do you know what? I think you bring up some really interesting points, Anissa, because I think in an article that I was reading, they said the fact is the more you get to know someone, the more attractive that they tend to become to you. Now, I understand you're saying that it doesn't work for you like that.
No,
and I guess for me, generally,
not.
I've really been against, in fact, not against, I don't really believe that men and women can be friends if they're both heterosexual and they're attracted to each other, or someone finds the other person attractive. I just think it's never going to work. Like, I don't really have male friends like that because I just don't think it can work. And I know someone's going to say something to that because they always do. That's how I feel. And I think I've never had a guy who's kind of graduated to being in a relationship with me because I never really had male friends. So it was never an issue for me because I'm like, I just feel like you're probably being my friend because you want to get close to me and you probably want something to blossom. And I don't even want to give you that idea that that's going to happen. And I think with Jonathan, why I think it's so funny, my husband, is because I still think it's really, really sneaky. I think the fact that he has kind of moved on, I think it's really sneaky. And he thinks he was just like, because for, what's her name? The one from Masika,
yes.
Yeah, from Love and Hip Hop. When I saw the guy who she's engaged to, I'm like, it all makes sense. He's not stereotypically good looking. She's an attractive woman.
I say he was good looking.
No. For me personally, I don't think he's stereotypically good looking. Like, he hasn't got like Hollywood movie looks. Do you know what I mean? He's not like that. He's not going to play the leading man. And I think a lot of times when people say, oh, I don't see them that way, it means I'm not physically attracted to them. It's whether depending on what you think is attractive. And I think some guys like that guy from Masika. And I think for Jonathan, because automatically I was like, he's not really my type. I like guys who are over 6 foot, really dark skinned. He's neither of those things. So for me, I'm like, it's not typically the sort of person I would go for. But I think for Masika and definitely for me, when I became friends with Jonathan, I'm like, this is an amazing guy. Like, I can talk to him about anything. He's really intelligent. We just really, really vibe. And I really had to rethink the sort of people that I was going for to be like, actually, there's a really great guy here who's probably not packaged how you would normally like them. But then the more you spend time with them, the more attractive he became. So I think it can work on both ends. You can be the sort of person who's like, it doesn't matter what you look like or how friendly we are, it's never going to happen. And some guys or some women or whoever you're attracted to really just are growers.
I think, though, even though they grow on you, there has to still be a slight spark of physical attraction to take you to that line. Do you know what I mean by that?
Well, it's true. Well,
yeah, there has to be
went
a
on a first
bit.
date in the beginning. So Jonathan and I went on a first date. So obviously there was some attraction there. But I think generally, like, if he had been my automatic type of like 6'4", really dark skin of immediate African descent, then we probably wouldn't even have been friends. And I think that's the beauty of having the friendship, is that you know that it's already based on this trust and this relationship that you've already built. And then you're bouncing off of that. And any good relationship should have a friendship as a basis.
Yeah, that's true. I just don't even be friends with people that I even think are kind of attractive. Like, if I think, oh, you're a little bit attractive, like, we just won't be friends, if that makes sense. But all my male friends are handsome. They're very handsome for all the single women.
But I think you can appreciate that somebody is good looking or attractive without necessarily wanting to get X-rated with them. I think that's, like, I can, whether it's right or wrong, I could look at my male friends, I could look at my female friends and say, oh, I think that's an attractive person or not. I think Sophie raised something that was really interesting, which is just that in that friendship situation, the reasons that you choose to be someone's friend have nothing to do with aesthetics. And so you're actually evaluating that person's character. You're evaluating their values. You're evaluating the way that they treat you and the way that they make you feel when you are interacting with them. And I think if those things all stack up to, because that's really the values that we should be looking at when trying to choose a partner. And I think so off definitely something as I've gotten older, I'm not that old, but definitely as I've gotten older, I have focused more on that. Whereas when I was younger, it was much more about, like Anissa said, that instant, I'm either attracted to you or I'm not, and I'm not going to change my mind about this. It doesn't matter how nice you are. And if you play in the friend zone and you're like the one that's always there, that's just not what's getting me going. But I mean, at that time, you're also looking for different things that perhaps when you're looking to be a bit more settled. So I think it can work both ways. You can definitely fall in love with someone. And I think friendship is a great basis for a relationship, for sure.